Right now, at this very moment, there's a man who could buy entire countries with his pocket change. A man whose wealth is so astronomical that he could literally fund missions to Mars. And he is. But here's the terrifying part. His fortune swings by more money than most nations' GDP in a single day. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the mind-bending world of the richest human being who has ever walked this planet. And trust me, what you're about to discover will make you question everything you thought you knew about wealth, power, and the future of humanity itself. Elon Musk, a name that strikes fear into competitors and awe into investors, is sitting on a fortune that Forbes estimates at $424.7 billion. But wait, let me put this into perspective for you, because your brain literally cannot comprehend this number. If you spent $1 million every single day, it would take you over 1,100 years to spend Elon's wealth. That's longer than the entire history of the Roman Empire. But here's where it gets absolutely insane. This man's net worth has dropped by over $100 billion just this year alone, and he's still the richest person on Earth. Imagine losing the equivalent of the GDP of Belgium and still being richer than entire nations combined. But how did one man accumulate such mind-boggling wealth? And more importantly, what does this mean for the rest of us? Because what I'm about to reveal will shock you to your core. But first, let me ask you this. What would you do with $400 billion? Drop your wildest answer in the comments below, because I guarantee it's not as crazy as what Elon is actually doing with his money. And trust me, you need to hear this. You think you know Elon Musk? Think again. This isn't just about one company or one brilliant idea. This is about a man who has built an empire so vast, so interconnected, that it's literally reshaping the future of human civilization. Let's start with Tesla, the company that didn't just disrupt the automotive industry, it obliterated it. While traditional car manufacturers were still debating whether electric vehicles were viable, Musk was already 3 steps ahead, creating a vehicle that could literally drive itself. But here's the kicker. Tesla isn't just a car company. It's an energy company, a software company, a robotics company, and get this. It's potentially the foundation for a completely autonomous future where human drivers become obsolete. Every Tesla on the road is collecting data, learning, evolving. It's like having millions of rolling computers all feeding information back to one central brain. But Tesla is just the beginning. SpaceX, Musk's space exploration company, has done what NASA couldn't do in decades. They've made space travel routine, reusable, and profitable. But here's what most people don't realize. SpaceX isn't just about getting to Mars. It's about something much bigger, much more terrifying, and much more profitable than anyone imagined. And when you understand what that is, you'll realize why Elon's wealth isn't just growing, it's exploding. But wait until you hear about the secret project that could make Elon the world's first trillionaire. It's happening right now, and most people have no idea. Keep watching, because this will blow your mind. Here's something that will make your head spin. Elon Musk's net worth dropped from a record-breaking $486.4 billion in December 2024 to approximately $342 billion. That's a loss of $144 billion in just months. Let me repeat that. This man lost $144 billion and is still the richest person on Earth. To put that in perspective, that's more than the entire net worth of Warren Buffett, one of the world's most successful investors. But here's where it gets absolutely wild. His net worth dropped by $34 billion in the midst of his major feud with President Donald Trump. One political disagreement cost him more money than most billionaires have in total. And this isn't unusual. During Elon Musk's tenure at the White House, the billionaire's net worth has risen and fallen $100 billion. Can you imagine waking up and finding out you're $100 billion richer or poorer than you were yesterday? This volatility isn't a bug, it's a feature, because Elon's wealth isn't tied to traditional investments. It's tied to the future itself. And the future, my friends, is the most volatile asset of all. But why is his wealth so unstable? The answer involves a dangerous game of technological roulette that could either make him the world's first trillionaire or destroy his empire entirely. And the clock is ticking. You want to know the real secret behind Elon's wealth? It's not just about building companies. It's about mastering the art of market manipulation. And I mean that in the most fascinating way possible. This man can tweet a single word and move markets by billions. He's turned social media into a weapon of mass financial destruction. Remember when he tweeted about Dogecoin? A joke cryptocurrency suddenly became worth billions. When he changed his Twitter bio to include Bitcoin, the cryptocurrency soared. When he criticized it, it crashed. But here's the scary part. He's not just moving markets randomly. There's a pattern, a strategy, a long-term vision that most people completely miss. Every tweet, every public statement, every seemingly random comment is part of a larger game. And the game isn't just about making money. It's about reshaping entire industries, changing how humans interact with technology, and positioning himself as the gatekeeper to humanity's future. He's not just rich. He's becoming the architect of tomorrow. Think about it. He controls our access to space through SpaceX, our transition to electric vehicles through Tesla, our social media discourse through X, formerly Twitter, and he's working on controlling our minds through Neuralink. This isn't just wealth, this is unprecedented power. But power this vast comes with enemies, and some of the most powerful people on Earth are plotting against him. What happens next could either secure his position as the richest man forever, or bring his entire empire crashing down. And the decision point is coming sooner than you think. Every empire has its enemies, and Elon Musk's empire is under attack from all sides. Traditional automakers, government regulators, competitors, and even former allies are circling like vultures. The legacy automotive industry, companies like Ford, General Motors, and Volkswagen, have finally woken up to the Tesla threat. They're pouring hundreds of billions into electric vehicle development, trying to catch up to a man who had a 15-year head start. But here's the problem. They're not just competing with Tesla. They're competing with the entire Musk ecosystem. Government regulators are breathing down his neck. The SEC has already fined him for market manipulation. The FAA is scrutinizing every SpaceX launch. International governments are concerned about his influence on global communications through Starlink. They're not just trying to regulate him, they're trying to contain him. And then there are the competitors. Jeff Bezos with Blue Origin, trying to challenge SpaceX's dominance in space. Mark Zuckerberg with Meta, competing for the future of social media and virtual reality. Tim Cook with Apple, preparing to enter the electric vehicle market with resources that could dwarf Tesla. But here's what makes this battle absolutely fascinating. While everyone else is fighting for market share, Elon is playing a completely different game. He's not just trying to win in existing markets. He's creating entirely new markets that didn't exist before, and that's where his masterstroke comes in. While everyone is focused on his current businesses, he's been quietly building something that could make all his other ventures look like pocket change. The revelation is coming up, and it's going to change everything you think you know about wealth. What if I told you that everything we've discussed so far, Tesla, SpaceX, the billions in wealth, the market manipulation, the enemies, what if all of that was just the warm-up act? Because Elon Musk is betting everything on technologies that sound like science fiction, but are becoming science fact. And if he's right, he won't just be the richest man on Earth, he'll be the richest human in history. First, there's Neuralink, the brain-computer interface company that's literally working to merge human consciousness with artificial intelligence. Imagine being able to download knowledge directly into your brain, or upload your memories to the cloud. If this technology succeeds, Elon won't just own companies, he'll own the future of human consciousness itself. Then there's the Boring Company, which most people think is just about tunnels. But it's not. It's about creating a completely new transportation infrastructure that could make every current form of transportation obsolete. Underground highways, hyperloop systems, transportation pods that move at speeds that would make airplanes look slow. And let's not forget about artificial intelligence. While everyone debates whether AI is dangerous, Elon is building it. His companies are at the forefront of autonomous driving, which is just the beginning. The AI that powers Tesla's self-driving cars is learning from millions of vehicles simultaneously. It's becoming smarter every day. But here's the trillion-dollar question. What happens when all these technologies converge? When brain-computer interfaces meet artificial intelligence, when space travel meets underground transportation, when electric vehicles meet autonomous systems, the answer could make Elon Musk not just the richest man on Earth, but the most powerful human being who has ever lived. And that possibility is terrifying some very powerful people. But before we reveal what they're planning to do about it, let me ask you something. But let's pause for a moment and talk about something that often gets lost in all these astronomical numbers and futuristic technologies: the human cost. What does it mean to be the richest person who has ever lived? What does it do to a person's psyche, their relationships, their sense of reality? Because behind all the billions and the businesses, Elon Musk is still a human being. This is a man who has faced multiple divorces, public breakdowns, and constant scrutiny. He's been accused of being everything from a genius to a fraud, from a visionary to a narcissist. He's faced lawsuits, government investigations, and death threats. The pressure of being the world's richest person isn't just about money. It's about carrying the weight of impossible expectations. Every decision he makes affects thousands of employees, millions of customers, and billions of dollars in market value. When he tweets, stocks move. When he speaks, cryptocurrencies soar or crash. When he makes a mistake, it's not just a personal failure, it's a global event. And here's what's really fascinating. Despite all this wealth, despite all this power, Elon Musk is still chasing something. He's still trying to prove something. He's still driven by the same insecurities and ambitions that drive all of us. The only difference is that his insecurities play out on a global stage with trillion-dollar consequences. But there's something else driving him, something more personal and more dangerous than just the pursuit of wealth. And when you understand what that is, you'll realize why his story is far from over. In fact, the most important chapter might just be beginning. Here's the secret that explains everything about Elon Musk's wealth, his companies, and his seemingly insane decisions. He's not building an empire on Earth. He's building an empire for Mars. Every single one of his companies serves this ultimate goal. Tesla isn't just about electric cars. It's about developing the energy systems needed for a Mars colony. SpaceX isn't just about satellite launches. It's about creating the transportation infrastructure to get humans to Mars and keep them there. The Boring Company isn't just about traffic. It's about creating underground habitats that could work on Mars. But here's the mind-blowing part. He's not just planning to visit Mars, he's planning to own it. Think about it. Whoever controls the first permanent human settlement on Mars essentially becomes the government of an entire planet. The economic implications are staggering. Mars has resources that could be worth quintillions of dollars. Rare earth metals, water ice, potential for terraforming. If Elon succeeds in establishing the first Mars colony, he won't just be the richest man on Earth, he'll be the richest person in the solar system. But this obsession comes with a price. He's pouring billions into SpaceX, often at the expense of his other companies. He's taking risks that could bankrupt him. He's making enemies of people who think his Mars plans are impossible, dangerous, or just plain crazy. And here's the terrifying question. What if he fails? What if Mars turns out to be uninhabitable? Or the technology doesn't work? Or the costs are too high? He could lose everything. The richest man on Earth could become just another failed entrepreneur. But what if he succeeds? What if he actually pulls off the impossible and becomes the first person to establish a permanent human presence on Mars? The implications for his wealth, for humanity, and for the future of our species are beyond anything we can imagine. And the timeline for this is shorter than you think. Time is running out, and Elon Musk knows it. He's 53 years old, and his most ambitious projects require decades to complete. But more importantly, he's racing against competitors, regulators, and his own mortality to secure his place in history. China is developing their own space program at breakneck speed. Jeff Bezos is pouring billions into Blue Origin. NASA is planning its own Mars missions. The window for being the first to Mars is narrowing, and whoever gets there first will control the future of space exploration. But it's not just about Mars. Every day that passes, his competitors get closer to matching Tesla's technology. Traditional automakers are finally taking electric vehicles seriously. Tech companies are developing their own AI systems. Social media platforms are creating alternatives to X. And then there's the regulatory pressure. Governments around the world are waking up to the fact that one man controls too much of the future. They're preparing regulations that could cripple his companies, limit his influence, or even force him to sell his stakes. The clock is ticking on multiple fronts. His wealth is tied to stock prices that could crash at any moment. His companies are dependent on technologies that might not work. His Mars plans require international cooperation that might not come. His social media influence could be regulated away. And here's the scariest part. He knows all of this. Every decision he makes now is a race against time. Every risk he takes could be the one that secures his legacy. or destroys everything he's built. But Elon Musk has never backed down from a challenge. And what he's planning next could either make him the world's first trillionaire or cost him everything. The next 12 months could determine not just his fortune, but the future of human civilization itself. So here we are, at the end of our journey into the mind-bending world of the richest man on Earth. But this isn't really an ending, it's a beginning. Elon Musk sits atop a fortune that makes him the wealthiest among 3,028 billionaires worldwide. But his story is far from over. In fact, the most important chapters are still being written. Every day, his wealth swings by billions. Every tweet moves markets. Every company announcement changes industries. Every step toward Mars brings humanity closer to becoming a multi-planetary species. And every decision he makes ripples through the global economy. But here's what makes this story so compelling. It's not just about money. It's about the future of human civilization. It's about whether one person can accumulate enough wealth and power to literally reshape the destiny of our species. Love him or hate him, fear him or admire him, you cannot ignore him. Elon Musk has become more than just a businessman. He's become a force of nature, a catalyst for change, a glimpse into what's possible when unlimited ambition meets unlimited resources. The question isn't whether he'll remain the richest man on Earth. The question is whether he'll use that wealth to make humanity a multi-planetary species, whether he'll merge human consciousness with artificial intelligence, whether he'll create technologies that seem impossible today but become commonplace tomorrow. The richest man on Earth isn't just hoarding wealth. He's betting it all on the future of humanity itself. And whether he succeeds or fails, we're all along for the ride. So what do you think? Is Elon Musk a visionary genius or a dangerous gambler? Will he become the world's first trillionaire, or will his empire come crashing down? And most importantly, what would you do with $400 billion? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And if this story blew your mind as much as it blew mine, smash that like button and subscribe for more incredible stories about the people who are shaping our future. Because trust me, the story of the richest man on Earth is far from over, and you won't want to miss what happens next.